All right, welcome to HIT. This is Chris Chickenelli, and we're talking high-intensity tactics for growth. And today, I'm telling you, I have got an amazing, amazing woman that's in here today, Miss Carrie Wilkerson. And I will tell you right now, just got off stage at the Pure Romance Conference and rocked it. But Carrie, everybody's going to wonder, like, how did you get to being this kind of this rock star of a business coach, a business thought leader? How'd you do it?
It wasn't a goal. It wasn't a plan. Honestly, I started working my business. Mm-hmm. I adopted 2 children, left my job, and started working a business at home. And the rest was then people saying, what are you doing? How are you doing it? Come talk to us. Mm-hmm. And it evolved. And it's been an overnight success journey of 21 years, right? And so I was pulled into the speaking. It was never, I didn't want to be in the spotlight. Honestly, Chris, I just wanted to be at home with my kids.
Well, I can tell you right now, but that comes down to one of your big key pillars is choices. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, the currency of life, we talk about that all the time. Everybody thinks it's money. I believe that the currency of life is having choices. And this was something that, you know, you chose. Hey, I want to be home with my kids, but I gotta choose to be able to take care of them. I gotta be able to choose to also have your identity too, which is probably really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I became a parent was through adoption from the foster care system, which was a choice, right? And then I wanted to be there with them. Not that I think every mom has to be at home, but these 2 kids had a rough start. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to be there with them on a daily basis. I never had $1 million idea. Mm-hmm. I never wanted to make a lot of money, but I did have some shortfall between check and month. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just said, you know, as a woman, I'm just going to do what I got to do. And so I found a business, started my business. And along the way, my decision became choices. Mm-hmm. I have a special needs son. Mm-hmm. I have a daughter who just graduated college, loan-free. And yes,
Mom,
loan-free.
Hey, Mom, I can give a high five across.
Loan-free and no car payment. And it's not because I just handed her money. Combination of work and choices along the way. I have one studying to be on Broadway, one that wants to go to the Coast Guard Academy. And all 4 of those kids I'm able to parent in different ways for what's best for them because of the choices that we've created.
You know, so many people think that there's one way to do everything. And there's not. There, as you've seen, there's multiple avenues, multiple ways, and you chose to do something different with each one of the kids. Now, you know, as kind of the opportunities kind of present ourselves, and they're going to present ourselves to our children. On HIT, we talk about how do we grow our businesses and grow ourselves. And I do believe that you know, when you talk about the choices that we all have in life, you know, this path of now going out there and serving others, is this a choice that was something like, I know not overnight success, because I know your journey of what you've done, but what is the real pillar that you tell people that they have to be mindful of when they're out there being a parent, being a business owner, being, you know, part of the community? What are the things or the one thing that you're really passionate about?
Yeah, you have to know your core values. Mm-hmm. What's important to you and your family. Yeah. And mine's going to be different than yours. Yeah. You're going to parent different ways than I parent, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. You know, I posted something on social media this week. It said there were 3 women at the pool. 2 were eating salads. 1 was eating out of a family-sized bag of Cheetos, and it was a beautiful thing, right? Everybody was cool with everybody's choices. And so I think you have to know your core values and what you're working for. But if I'm trying to recreate your life or the success your mom has had or you know, some other celebrity's life, I'm going to be discontent. I'm going to stumble. It's not going to work. Mm-hmm. You have to define what works for you. Yep. And then go get it. So the reason I do what I do now is because we don't always see the path in front of us. It's not always really clear what's in front of us. And so out of that room today, if one woman in there, or hopefully more than one, but if one woman says, oh, I see what's possible. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. I'm going to open my box. I see what's possible. That's a good day. And that's now my goal and my evolution. The money is a side thing. The choices are a side thing. But I just want people to see what's possible.
But in this world of Insta-Lie and fake book and everything else that's out there right now, it sounds really good. But there's a lot of people struggling to find clarity on what they really want. How do I identify with myself? How do I really discover? Because when I look at these things on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, I see everybody else's life and it looks so much better than mine.
Right. Right. And that's the whole phenomenon of comparing everybody else's highlight reel to your own blooper reel. Mm-hmm. And so I say you either need to put it away or put it in perspective. So I'll go dark on social for long periods of time, as far as I'll go post and then leave. Hit and run is what I call it. I'll go post and leave, because if somebody gets in my head or my heart or under my skin, I need to just walk away from it. I cannot compare. What I need to compare is against who I was yesterday and who I am today. Or who do my kids think that I am, and really working on being that human that my kids want me to be and need me to be.
But it's hard when you say those hit and runs, right? So a lot of people out there building businesses, doing, they've been told, hey, you got to be active on social. You got to be talking about your product. You got to be talking about how your business is going. And for them, to be consistent and driving that message, how do you tell one that feels like, oh my gosh, if I'm not posting today, I'm not going to make money. How am I not? I take so many things that I see on the internet or whatever personally. What advice do you give to that person? Because she is paycheck to paycheck, and every day she's not doing something, she's going to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting ahead.
Well, exactly. The problem is we're wanting to do things passively to avoid rejection. So I would say have more in-person conversations. Post and know your motive for posting. Don't post just to be posting. Post with intent. Am I trying to start a conversation? Do I want them in my inbox? Am I trying to get them to call me? Am I soliciting? Do they want a sample? What is your motive for posting? And in that moment, you also need to go full on secretary at horse racing, put on the blinders, and don't look at what everybody else is doing. Do what you need to be doing. A lot of the advice that you guys give for people in the bedroom can also translate to the boardroom and to the business. And that is, put your blinders on, worry about what brings you joy, what works for your family, and what has the greatest return for your buck.
Okay, so here's the thing. If somebody's out there listening and wanting to know exactly a step to do to stop the comparison that's going on, I know that they're going to compare their success to somebody else's success. Is it really is the truth to sit down and get clear on exactly what it is that you want, and kind of writing that personal life blueprint or business blueprint? Is that what you had to do with you? Okay.
Yeah. How do I want my life to look, and what am I tolerating?
Yeah. 2
core questions I ask myself monthly, if not just quarterly. What do I want my life to look like? And I write down what the day looks like. So for instance, right now I have not enough margin now, and I'm just being very honest. Right now I don't have enough time for DIY home remodeling. I love to remodel my own house. I don't have enough time for that right now, and I'm mad. And so the other day I wrote down, need more DIY in my life, right? And then what am I tolerating? I'm tolerating maybe clients that aren't showing up for appointments, or I'm tolerating, the kids' rooms not being up to par because we're so busy that I don't have time to make them go back and redo it, right? What are we tolerating? What are we putting up with? And what do we want our life to look like? If we don't know what we want our life to look like, if we don't know what our family core values are, we're going to miss the target. Every time. If we don't know what we're aiming at.
Okay, so now you get your target, but how do you stay focused on that target? Because once I see people put like that, I see them do their dream boards, and they come up with, they got all their goals on a piece of paper, everything's looking really good. And then they have that moment where they're like an hour, writing all this stuff down, they think about it, but then life happens. Now they're back in mom mode, now they're back in business owner mode, now they're back in cheerleader mode, now they're back in significant other mode. They're now into, I've got all of these responsibilities. So I see a lot of business owners, these goals get thrown out the door. How does one stay focused on that?
Hope is not a marketing strategy. Hope is not a business building strategy. We love it. We're addicted to it. We want the hit in our veins all the time. And so we get the planners and the stickers, and we're, holy smokes. We love that part of it. And then what we neglect to do is work our ask off, is what I call it. ASK, for those of you listening. We have to work our ask off. We're doing all the things that are not people related. So we can avoid rejection or judgment or whatever. We're looking all the hope and the dream and the want, but we're not doing the work. And so we have to work our ask off. So I say, before you do anything else, you have to be asking every day. Ask, ask, ask. Work your ask off. Bust your ask. You have to be asking hard questions. Sample, share, recruit, show up. Right? We have to be asking. We have to put ourselves out there instead of just painting the picture. We have to focus on it. And if that means you wake up, open up that planner every day and say, this is what I need to make happen. Not what all does the family need me to do. This is what I need to make happen. If you were to do 30 minutes of asks a day in your business, before you did anything else, or even in the middle of everything else. It would revolutionize your business.
But Carrie, I can't find 30 minutes a day.
BS.
I mean,
BS.
I can't
Turn
find
off
it.
Netflix. Turn off Netflix. Take the games off your smartphone. Deactivate social media. 30 minutes a day. That means you don't want financial freedom. It means you don't want the paycheck. It means you're worried somebody's going to say, everybody has 30 minutes. Yep. Everybody. Create it. Carve it out. Wake up early. Go to bed later. You have 30 minutes. That's ridiculous.
It's like this. I don't think that they're desperate enough. If they're not desperate enough, and if you haven't found your desperation to get what you want out of life, we talk about that, and I think you and I probably share that in common. Yep. Is the most desperate are the most successful. Would
exactly.
you agree?
Yeah, I would absolutely say that. I love this story. Now, this is a Bible story, so Noah's Ark, right? Yeah. He built the ark because he knew a flood was coming. Other people weren't encouraged to help him, didn't think they needed to show up because they couldn't see the rain.
Yeah.
When the doors closed and the rain started, folks were banging on the door. They got desperate. Yeah. The job loss, divorce, health crisis, divorce happened. And then what happened? Then all of a sudden, instead of worrying about what people say about my business or people telling me no, now all of a sudden we're having to do a GoFundMe to bury somebody, to marry somebody, to take care of a health crisis, to whatever that looks like. And so we are one desperate moment away from a GoFundMe campaign. My thing is wake up every day as if in 40 days the rain is going to start.
Yeah.
Wake up and know that in 40 days I might have a kid that needs a kidney, or I might have a child or a parent who's going into foreclosure, or I might have a husband who's killed in an accident or loses his job, or Enron, or recession, or hurricane, or all of these things that happen, and we get so comfortable being uncomfortable, and we think we have so much time, and we just really don't.
And that drives me. That's one of the things when I'm talking with business owners and I'm talking about business all the time. I'm like, you have to be thinking every day that it can be taken away. And if you wake up with that attitude, people are like, well, Chris, that's too scary. I'm like, well, if you're not scared and you don't wake up with butterflies, you got to get out of the employee mentality that there's always going to be a paycheck, and you got to actually get into the employer role. And that's, I don't care if you're working in a day job, if you have that mentality that, listen, you're the rainmaker, you're the person that's going to bring it every day. That's the mentality that more and more people got to get with, because that desperation, a lot of people are like, wow, desperation sounds so bad. No, it's a motivator. We talk about all the time on HIT is that there's two big motivators, right? Fear and love. And I know that fear, we're only born with falling, and loud noises. Everything else is false evidence appearing real, right? What is it that people need to kind of get a grip on with their life, with their family, with their business? And one of the things that you talked about today was opening your boxes of opportunity. I mean, being able to understand that every little thing that we do, there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the issue is people are afraid of rejection, yes. Afraid of success, yes. Fear of failure. But also, our culture is so immersed in, what do we deserve? What are we entitled to? I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to sit here and watch this Netflix series because I've worked so hard this week. Have you really? Have you hit your goals? Have you done what you said you were going to do? Have you shown up the way you said you were going to show up? Do you really deserve it, or should you earn it? Yeah. Maybe you go do 30 minutes of working your ass off, and then you go watch one Netflix episode instead of the whole season, right? And maybe you reward yourself after. When I was a kid, we didn't get the dessert until after we ate the vegetables, right? Yeah. Now we're very much in a culture of, well, but she's averse to vegetables, and I don't want to shame her, and I don't want to, and I'm not saying any of that is right or wrong. I'm just saying we are choosing what we want right now instead of what we want most.
That is, it's so crazy when you think about that. I see too many people rewarding 8th place. I mean, and so if you're going to reward that, then you might as well understand that that's going to be the mentality that your children are going to walk away with, the mentality that everybody around you. Okay, I got a personal question now for you, because I see this in your eyes when I'm talking to you. You were desperate, weren't you?
Oh, absolutely. In multiple ways. Yeah. So after dealing with infertility and all those kind of things, adopting 2, one turns out to have special needs. I mean, multiple points of desperation. I've also lost 150 pounds.
You look great.
Thank you. We've paid off over 6 figures worth of debt. More than once.
Yeah.
And, you know, so yes, desperation, desperation, desperation. I told the story on stage today of my grandfather, 84 years old, lived with me. The moment that I pulled him out of a bathtub because he got too cold and stayed too long, and I'm at that moment, I said, my parents will have choices. My parents will have different choices. I've now funded long-term care for them for the last 10 years, and they're mad about it because they don't think they'll ever use it, but I have a comfort in knowing they have that option. Yes, desperation, and those evolve. So you may not be desperate now, but that evolves. You know, we are then put in different situations, divorce, death, loss, crisis, weather. You know, and can we talk about the recession that's probably right around the corner?
Oh, it's coming.
2008,
it's coming.
We had a financial incident. They typically come every 10, 11 years, which means we're overdue. So I don't want to be the gloom and doom guy. I am not Eeyore. I really am Tigger. But I'm married to Eeyore, and so I will tell you it's coming. It's coming.
He sounds like me because that's the same thing. I tell everybody, you know, everybody is right now. It's great. It's awesome.
Fish jumping in the boat right now.
I see well, here's the problem. I see the wealthier getting wealthier and the poor getting poorer right now. And the middle is going to get squeezed. And there's where a lot of people aren't thinking about it right now. They might be having a little bit, like they could go out and buy the new iPhone. They could go out and purchase a little bit more expensive car.
Are they? Or are they putting that on their credit card?
Oh, they're putting it on their credit card 100%. And then the issue is I put that on my credit card. And the problem is they got 24, 27% interest where they're not getting ahead.
Never.
And that's where I'm seeing so many people struggling right now. And they are struggling because they deem success is what's in their bank account. They're looking at their bank account and going, man, I have less than $200 in my bank account. I have less than $100. And not a lot of people are feeling successful right now. Therefore, their mentality of success is making them go, why do I want to continue to keep working so hard? I'm not seeing any fruits of my labor. I'm not seeing myself get ahead. And we're constantly out there telling them that you got to quit acting that way. You got to dress and act for the part you want, not for the part you have. And that's important.
And make your money matter.
Yes.
Choose a charity, choose a cause. I have a daughter studying to be on Broadway, so she's taking tap with a Rockette, a former Rockette. I can fund that because of choices that I've made. I don't have to say, oh, I can't afford this class or I can't afford this class. I have to say what's the best choice for her to get her where she wants to be. If she doesn't make it, it's not going to be because of me. It's going to be because she didn't work, right?
Yeah. Now, okay, so here's the thing. So, you know, a lot of people are listening and they're like, man, you know, she seems so polished. She seems so on stage amazing. How did you get clear on your why? How was it that you can help somebody that's listening today that you went through this? You had to go through this and figure out the why. When you got hit with infertility and you got hit with some of these other things that were kind of desperate pieces of your life, how were you able to get clear on that why? That you were going to be the person that you are today? Hey, I don't want to get on stage. That's not what I want to do, but I want to change people's lives.
Yeah, well, my first why was just to be home for the first two. And my first why was that they would know my name was Mom.
Oh.
So I think maybe we're all looking at the big Zuckerberg why, or the big Rachel Hollis why, and we're missing out who's in our house and who we need to be making eye contact with right now. I wanted my kids to know that I was Mom, and that would never change. Nothing they could do could put that at risk. And so that was my why. And in order to make that happen, I had to create a paycheck to allow me to be at home. Now my son, who has special needs, is now 23. He will always be somewhat dependent. And when you're then looking at $3,000 to $4,000 a month of therapy or housing or long-term care, while other families are looking at college graduations and engagement and independency, that's not something I'm looking at with him right now. I'm looking at choices for him. That's a why I'm looking at every single day. I don't have the luxury of, am I motivated to work today? Am I motivated to work today? Well, yeah, because Mark is still here, and I promised him when he was a toddler, I'm here till death do us part. Told the judge that. I promised you would never have to find another mother, and I'm here for the long haul. $4,000 a month, so be it. I'm motivated. I better work my ass off.
Well, you know, it's so funny. The reason I was running late today is because I did the same thing. I've worked, and I know that I'm going to have to work later tonight, and I'm going to have to work, you know, the extra hours because I want to be there with Max, my middle one, for football today, right? I want to be there for football practice because I don't want him to be able to go, well, my dad was never around, or my dad, I traveled 250 days here. I'm not going to win Dad of the Year award, but when I'm there for my kids. But I see a lot of people that they go, they work out, you know, they go do something for the kids, they, you know, go be mom, or they, you know, they go into this role of wife, but they forget about the other thing. Even when you're mom, even when you're wife, even when you're significant other, even when you're whatever, when you have a business, you're going to stay up later than everybody else. You're going to it doesn't matter. You have to put the time in to it. And I think that that's where so many people in today's world, I'm so tired. I feel like, like I'm just constantly just worn down. That's a time
I'm tired. I'm stressed. She hurt my feelings. I have a headache. I'm struggling. I feel stuck. Could we sound more privileged, entitled, spoiled? Could we? I mean, it's a little ridiculous. So we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and go, really? Yeah. That's what you're going with today. You're going to give up your goal because you have cramps today. Yeah. You're going to give up your goal because she hurt your feelings. Is she paying your bills? Is she raising your children? Is she in the sheets with you? Why does she matter? Yeah. Why is her opinion derailing your life? Mm-hmm. She's not. Mm-hmm. You're blaming her, but really it's you. So suck it up, Buttercup, and let's work your ass off.
God, I think you and I could tour together because I think there's there's a lot of commonality here because that's the same thing. And I think it's really, good information that people need to hear because it's not simple out there. I always say you have to get uncomfortable to be comfortable. Yeah. I live in a state of, and I tell our consultants all the time, tell business leaders is that there's a spectrum and there's the comfortable spectrum and the uncomfortable spectrum. I always like my business owners to be on this side. I want comfortability, but it comes with having those uncomfortable moments, working past everybody else, doing more than everybody else. And that becomes with that very clear why, that clear expectation, setting clear focus goals, measurable goals. I want to make a lot of money is not a goal. I want to make 100,000. That's a goal because you can measure it. I want to build a bigger team. That's not a goal. Building a team of 400. That's a goal. That's measurable along the way that I see a lot of people not putting those out there. Now, when you talk about this, you fill a stadium. How do you fill a stadium of people that want to buy products, do things? How is that you do that?
They have to get on board with what you believe. And what I believe is that we are worth immeasurably more than we can possibly imagine, and we can do immeasurably more, and we're selling ourselves short. And I don't want to argue with you, but you say 100,000 is a goal. Yes, but we're going to drop that goal before we hit the end zone every single time if we don't know why that 100,000 is important. So what? 100,000 means nothing because everything is debit and paper and plastic right now anyway. Why does that 100,000 matter? That matters because 10% of that, which is my charity giving, can fund an orphanage for $10,000. That's why 100,000 matters. Not because anybody gives a rip about $100,000. It's just numbers. Yep. You talk to a kid about, we watch a kids baking show, and so they'll say, what are you going to do with your $25,000? Oh, I want to go rescue a cat. That's how people are with their goals of make $100,000. Why do you want to make $100,000? Well, because that's a good salary. Mm-hmm. So what? What's so great about that? Well, would it enable your husband to have options, quit his job? Would it enable you to pay off your debt? Would it enable you to give generously? Why is that $100,000 important? Why is that team of people important? Because you want to empower them or because of the PV that would generate? Yep. Why is that goal important? You can't just throw these goals out because you've seen them somewhere else. Six figures, who even knows what that means anymore? Six figures is just as meaningful as hidden figures. Yeah. I mean, unless you really know what that means and why it's meaningful to you, it doesn't matter. So some people, $500 a month would change their lives. Yep. So stop thinking everybody has to be six figures or everybody has to be, my pat thing that I say now is for 21 years, I've worked at home creating an executive income. And why don't I say a number? Because some years have been 6, some years have been 7, some years have been all over the map. Yeah. But why do I say executive income? Because in Alabama, Arkansas, Alaska, Dominican Republic, Australia, that all means a different number. Yep. My goal is to show women how they can create an executive income for themselves, whatever that number means to them.
That's huge. Because that what you basically said in a nutshell is that when you're going out there and working, you're using your business as a vehicle for purpose. Yes. Your vehicle that you're doing, the executive income that you're doing, yes, it's a great way to bring it. You take care of your family with it. You take care of all this other stuff, but you're also changing the world. You're making it better in which you found it. That's what Jessica and myself, my wife, and I decided to do is we're giving away 50% of my wealth over the next couple of years because our whole thing is using Pure Romance as a vehicle. Yep. A vehicle to go out there and make change, a vehicle to go out there and make this place better because every day you get up, I got to have something bigger out there for me to shoot for because it's not about the money. You're right. Money is going to change. It's going to fluctuate every year, especially as a female executive. As an executive, you're gonna have some good years, you're gonna have some bad years, but you're gonna have to understand that vehicle that you're given, that you go out there and drive every day, is a vehicle of change.
Yep.
Now, all right, last question, and I know that this is good. How do you juggle it all? I mean, being an executive business owner, being a mom, being a wife, being, a person that is going out there and giving themselves to so many people like you did today. How do you, Carrie, juggle this?
Yeah, the juggle is real. The juggle is real, and it means that some things I do well and some things I don't do well. It means I don't cook from scratch 8 days a week. It means, I have groceries delivered. It means that sometimes my teenager has to get rides with other people here and there. It means that tonight I'm dashing from here for opening weekend. She's a musical theater actress. She has an opening weekend. My vow to her is I'll never miss an opening weekend. I did miss opening night last night, but I will not miss opening tonight. And so the juggle is real. I can't be there for all 3 shows, but she knows I'm coming for what's important. So it means we can't be all things to all people, and we can't do everything well. We just can't. So yes, my bed is made, but my floors are not always scrubbed. And if they are, I can promise you it's probably not me doing it. And that's why I work, is so that those things happen. But what I will say is that I do turn down gigs, full paying gigs, when I have a big family conflict, if I need to. Sometimes my kids will tell me not to turn it down, because I'll tell you, one of the side benefits of being a woman business owner that I never counted on, never planned on, was that my girls don't see anything as impossible. My girls think it's normal to walk on a stage in front of 15,000 people and be like, hey, girl, hey. Why wouldn't they? They see it happen. My girls think it's normal to go in and negotiate 5- and 6-figure contracts and be okay if they say no, because I'm working my ass off, right? My girls don't see any limits, whether it's military or ministry or marketplace or theater. My girls don't see any limits because they see me being who I say that I am, loving them the way that I say that I love them, showing up for the important things, and messing up sometimes. And I own it when I mess up, and I don't blame other people, and I don't victim, and I don't quit my business because I'm messing up. Sometimes we just recalibrate, right? If every pilot had to ground the plane when they got off course, we'd never get anywhere. But you and I know, because we travel, they're recalibrating constantly while we're flying. And that's how you adjust to the juggle and the struggle, is that you recalibrate as you go.
Carrie Wilkerson, I'm telling you right now, you are the definition of the hit. High intensity, amazing. I appreciate what you did for us today. I appreciate the fact of what you're doing for women business owners around the world. And I appreciate that you're going out there and you're living your life by design. You're choosing your path, and you're helping so many others do that same thing. So I appreciate you being a guest here. I hope that we can get you back on, because amazing talk and amazing person. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.